Bet you didn't think you was going to see me this year. Well, I didn't either. And but it's time for the predictions. Actually, 2020 was really horrific, the year of COVID. I want to talk to you about that for a minute. For those of you that have never watched this show, normally I am politically and religiously neutral. Now, in case of a prediction show, I cannot guarantee that because I don't know what I'm going to run into. Technically speaking, what I do is I go ahead in time for you, and like a problem shooting type thing, where what I tell you what I'm looking at. Physically, I'm not looking at anything, but I use that term. And so I will tell you what I can perceive. That's a better word. And then we have the choices. Since we are aware of what is coming, we have the choices to either prepare differently, buffer it, or change it altogether. And no, you don't have to call me and say, oh, you said that, if it's really bad. It's not the point that whether I'm right or wrong. If it's not good, make me wrong, please. That's what I need you to do. And to be politically correct, I have lots of masks. Some of the natives made this for me. Then here there's a universe, you see. And I really liked the way everybody thought of my personality traits. And then here is an Ashanti one. And then here is a native design. Now, actually, there's 7. I could wear a different fashion every day of the week, except I never leave my house again except 3 times a month. So I have shared that with you. So, like we always do, we can't go to the studio at the moment because everything is closed. So we just decided to bring you into the house. It's somewhat messy these days because I have not been able to help myself. So with the help of friends, especially from the station, and I will get back to that in a little bit. So that's it. Like the man said, it is what it is. Our friend Lokash and I'm going to back up for a minute. Originally, we was going to do the usual update show in July. Dan Bennett, that you were familiar with, made the backgrounds and everything. But as it turned out, the station was closed, so you did not get an update from July until December. But what happened is I had made an update and wrote it. It's on the website, but I'm going to read it to you for those of you that haven't seen it. It said that we would be the victim of deformation. We needed to strengthen ourselves. We would be subject to unjust punishment. We are involved in obligations that cannot be broken. Eventual success of events is unfolding, and it's going to almost run like parallel time frames. And this is what we see here, because it seems half of the country is in a different reality than the other. Stormy characters, psychological problems, that happened. Sharp and explosive statements, lots of movement. We had to act swift to make decisions so they would be correct. And we had to use more female intuition, which means we had to use the right side of our brain so it wouldn't be so focused and have this much male energy. We're going to maintain the separation a little longer, but we have to be careful so we don't become our own prison here. Legal actions. Conflicts are favorable. We have to use intelligence and stick to our principles. Fire is cleansing, and we certainly had enough of that. The demonstrations did continue, and some will linger till November. So by looking at what's going on, demonstrations and celebrations in my brain is pretty much the same when I look at it like that. And all of a sudden we would have solution, and we have to fight to maintain. Mars is in the picture. the planet Mars represents war, so we have to be really cautious so we don't push the wrong button. And that was the update that what we was going to be looking for. And as you can see, we at the tail end of that. So Kanashi Bashan was supposed to come, but she couldn't. Due to the COVID, we can't travel. So what she wrote said, she thinks this virus is going to stay somewhat longer and force us to change within ourselves. That part I don't understand. She said to give a genius rating like Einstein. Oh, she's talking about Siri. When all of a sudden we think when we talk to Siri or Alexa, and they know everything, and of course it'll say, I don't understand you, I don't know this. In my case, it does not do accents, so you have to go within and use your own mind. Google and Siri and Alexa is not going to have the answers for you. She thinks that the economy is going to improve a little bit for about a year and a half, but it's going to take a long time to get organized. And a lot more ill people in the next few months. She said, because things aren't going to last forever, we will get through this as a unit, as a country. And she feels it's going to take about a year and a half before we get finally organized. And with all the expenses, additional expenses in the economy, we're going to feel that probably by the end of next year. Let's see. And then Lokesh Kumar, our friend from India. Let's see, where is he at? He's not here. We can't find him. Oh, I found him. Oops, excuse me. He said the United Nations will take strong measures for peace of the world. In the International Human Rights Commission, the International Court will take strong measures against injustice in some countries. And he feels there could be a limited war between people of two religions. So that is what he came up with. Now we're going to move this, and then I'm going to tell you a story. No, I'm not. I'm going to read my write-up first. Hang on. As always, I did a write-up. This is for 2021. Very broad. We have seen victory, and so we're very fortunate because we can use this as a teaching moment in history books where we can actually learn how to overcome things and do things. We have regained our voice of our consciousness. We have balanced our thoughts and our opinions, and what we now need to do, all get together and harmonize these things to the point where, in some ways, we're going to be the envies of the world, because we're really going to pull this off and not letting ourselves get influenced from other places. However, we have to increase our intuition, and like an old man, like a wise person, a teacher or a writer, but we need to listen, even if we don't quite understand it, because it'll play out not like that, not immediately like that, but it'll take a while, but everything is going to never get back to normal, but it will stabilize to the point where we actually eventually get back to where we were and become the envy of some of the world. The female sign of the month is Taurus, May, Virgo, September, January, Capricorn. And then then I saw an octopus. Now, an octopus is a very intelligent being, a creature, and it's very intelligent and has so many ways to be able to reach things and do things and escape, real escape artist. And so when you see an octopus, you think of danger. You have to be aware what goes on around you. We have to be cautious that the courts don't trap us in a situation where it'll hinder us from things we want to do or restrain our freedom. It's kind of like a boomerang. So from now on, what we put out, that's what we're going to get back. So some of us have to change our line of thinking. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius is going to be the beginning of really good communication. We have to watch the food supply. In a way, that sounds worse than what it is. And we're going to pull that off, but in a way, don't hoard. But when you buy things that will last for a little while, because somewhere along the line there is a disruption in the food supply. The beginning is going to be very slow but steady. And the person in charge, which will be our president-elect, is going to have very many allegations against him because some people cannot balance their judgment. There are hidden enemies and slander that will be overcome. And so everything's going to be pretty nerve-wracking momentarily. And changes in research, and I'm assuming that has to do with the medicine and problems with power plants and the buildings, and problems with the internet. So, physically and spiritually, try to balance everything that you do, because you don't want to end up in something that could be equal to an occult, like you would follow one line of thinking and that's it. Please open your mind and follow what it is that you want to do without disturbing other people's opinions. Okay, that takes care of that. So now I want to talk to you about something serious. TCTV, as I call it, but the proper name is TC Media, is having a few little problems and needs your backup here. So I want to tell you a little bit about it. I've been a member of the station for 23 years. And I want to tell you what it means to me and my family and the people around me and you, the viewer. Young people can come in and learn things. I have grandchildren that started at the age of 8. They learned how to filmmake. They learned discipline. They learned how to follow directions and all of that. So when they became of age, they put that on their job applications. And I'd like for you to know they got really, really good jobs because it showed how disciplined and how grown up these young people were. We at the station, we are sort of like a family. As you know, I've been sort of ill since a long time, over a year. And it is the camaraderie and the family-oriented thinking of the station and the people involved there that have come to my aid. And because we are sort of a family, we keep you informed. For instance, when you have weather, if you don't know what else to do, you call the station. They are informed. They are informed. They show you things that normally you wouldn't have access to. Now we are available where you can put us on your Roku TVs, on your smart TVs. I have friends in other countries that is now watching the station. And because of COVID, we couldn't do anything, because usually you get a different show every week. Well, we couldn't really do that. And everybody that does anything there is volunteers. We do not get paid. So we really depend on you as a community and as a unit. And so please give us a hand, because, well, hell, yeah, we deserve it, you know. So please keep us going. Now, for those of you that know Amy Goodman and watch her now, Amy Goodman is on our channel. And myself, this person of high strangeness, it was kind of strange in the beginning, but to remind you, when the scientists and the ufologists and the cryptozoologists came in on my show, you got really familiar with the other reality. Next thing you know, ancient aliens came along, and believe it or not, some of those people got to start with me on TCTV. So you see how important that was, and it's been a good run. So please continue it for your grandchildren and your children. And so I thank you. At the end, you're going to have a phone number or something. If not, call me or the station. Please help. Thanks. So that's what you're waiting for, right? Here we go. I work with 2 decks. So let's see what next year brings. Oh, I was scared last year. I started off talking about a pandemic and ended up with a messed up Supreme Court. I didn't know what I was looking at. It was scary. But we overcame all of it. I'm going to make the country female. Yeah. Energy change. We'll make the country female. Ouch. Operating on one arm, that hurts. And for those of you that don't know, I cough all through the program. I have an obstruction in my throat. No, it is not COVID. I cough. My grandson Malcolm, that you're familiar with, he said I've been coughing through the show since 1994. Okay, so we'll start out. There's problems with waterways. For instance, the ships like the ones that come into New Orleans and here in the Puget Sound, we even have cruise ships come in. So I'm almost thinking there's a change with the water level, where they're going to run into problems with the height of the water. That's one thing. It's going to take quite a while for the post office to get back to normal. When lots of you, when you quit the military, one of the options was always to go work for the post office, because there was a steady income, you knew what you was doing, and your family was taken care of after you leave this planet. So I think there is going to be some changes, unjust changes, but changes at the post office. The job situation is is a hit or miss. It appears to get better, and then of course it'll drop down again. So don't put everything in one basket. Try to be flexible. We will get through this, but things are not going to be ever like they were before. So be flexible when it comes to your job and your job hunts. Because now we're looking at 21, so I would think till almost the middle of 22, it'll take that long before things will get straight, where you can actually get a job where you're going to be until death do you part. So don't get discouraged. It's just that flexible here. Money is going to improve. Things will come in as a trickle. Now, if you're a millionaire, a trickle is quite a bit. If you have nothing, a trickle is enough to sustain you. The government itself is going to have a hard time making definite decisions because there is interference, not just from the two parties, but also outside interference. So we'll overcome that, but it can be real discouraging because we are all stressed out at the moment, and I'm gonna put this over here. I can't give you a time frame on this. Don't think just because there is a change in the political setup that is the cure. It's not. Some of the main problems is going to continue because you can't snap your finger from one day to another and change people's reality. We have been, as a people, we've been so divided, and you can't just wake up one morning and love each other. It doesn't work that way. You have to earn it, and it's a bumpy road. 21 is going to be bumpy, so please, I can't put a time on that. Mental illness, excuse me, mental illness is going to come to the forefront. Now, one of the problems, because of the COVID we didn't have access to mental health therapists and things. And I know from experience, when you're looking for a therapist, it is mostly marriage counseling or drug counseling. But so many of us have other problems, and it's going to be really, really hard to get back into the swing and find a reliable therapist. So maybe I don't know if there's any support groups other than AA, but try to associate with people that actually understand what the problem is, because by the time you explain it and they say, yeah, and then you have a crisis and they don't know what to do. So kind of talk to each other. And you know, social networking is really a good format. There are different groups. For instance, you have people with different blood type. That's a really good group. Multiple sclerosis has a group. You don't have to be sick, but they talk to each other and give solutions to weird problems that they have. And so, but there is nothing wrong with having disturbances at the moment. If you can find a good therapist, fine. If not, just depend on the people around you. Yeah. Now, back to the TV station. There are programs, television programs in places where they have unqualified people sitting there trying to tell you something. Don't believe anything anybody tells you. That includes myself. You go within and you do what works for you, because there are no instant cures, so be patient with each other. Yep, can't give you time period here. It's almost like we're backtracking, so I'm not sure if that's the COVID or not, but it's almost like we have to go backwards and push reset in order to go forward. So I would think we probably going to be stuck for a minute. Yeah, reset. It's a reset. That's what it is. A good way to know what happens during the day, if you watch some of the late night shows, their monologue, they usually take the events for the day and put it in a really light type form, but it's very informative, and you can have that water cooler conversation. And to remind you, my Facebook is I take reports from around the world in some news agencies and put it there for you so you are informed. And no reason to argue about anything. It is just an information hub. And some of those comedians try to do that. They try to give you the whole story, and then you can sort it out without putting a burden on you where you get overloaded or depressed or things like that. So that's one way to work around things. The death toll, unfortunately, is going to continue for quite a while. Can't put a time on that for you either. And it's really sad. Some of the hospitals have the need to rethink their function. So I don't know if that means we need more hospitals, or if they specialize, if there's a need to specialize healthcare in different areas. Now, for instance, our native friends, like Navajos, for instance, sometimes they have to travel a whole day to get to the doctor. So it's also possible that more medical care will come to isolated places. But all in all, it will stabilize. God, I'm using that word too much. This is the success card right here. And when I get that, I can assure you, we will come out pretty good on the other end. This has to do with your personal finances. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to invest a lot. It's more like a juggling. Maybe you take a, what did they call it, a stimulus, and pay a bill over here, which will trickle a little more money into your life on a monthly basis. It's going to be a long time before we are stable again like that. So you just have to maneuver it around a little bit and like a puzzle, see where it fits. But it'll take quite a while for us to get out of this slump that we're in. Lots of arguments. They will continue amongst family members, groups, churches, babies. All of a sudden, a lot of pregnancies here. I think for the last year or so, we were so busy with ourselves, we didn't have time for babies. But I'd like for you to know, next year there will be an increase in babies. So get ready and, well, let me see. If you get a lot of babies, I guess the COVID is going to get better because you can have physical contact. Unless the stork brings you some babies, that's possible too. We don't have storks here where I live, but in Europe they have quite a few storks this year, so you watch yourself if you so choose. It's going to be hard to come to terms with nature. There was so much damage with the fires. I don't think the cleanup from the fires is going to be done by the end of 2021. So do your part. Don't litter, and try to be helpful, even if you don't get paid for something. It's really a nice feeling when you do something from your heart without looking for a monetary return at the time. I just had a birthday, and I got a toilet paper, and I got a boomerang. The person giving me the boomerang gave it to me because I have friends in Australia, in the Northern Territory, and they thought I would like it to go with my didgeridoos, but to me it meant karma. So the person that gave it to me didn't really realize what she was saying here. Whatever you put out comes right back to you. So be more helpful with each other, because you never know when a total stranger comes along and helps you out of a jam. And like I was said a while ago, as far as the station and things, sometimes you get help from people that you really don't expect it, because everybody else is too busy. And look here. Look what I have here. This is the card that I use when I'm in doubt about what I just told you. Just a minute here. What I just told you. And I picked this card to let me know that I'm right. What I'm telling you is correct. And when I get to something, it's really like a verification. I work with the 2 decks. So no matter how crazy this whole thing sounds again, I think this is going to be correct. So maybe you can work towards working through that. And then here's success again. Showing love for each other. We're going to, not perfect, but we're going to start to become maybe not 1 people. Let's say we're going to get to 1.5. That's better than none at all. Yeah. Earthquakes, 2 of those. I got 2 cards like that. So the natural disasters will continue. Money will improve. Now this is my marijuana card. In some of the states, they finally legalized marijuana. So there's a lot of happy people, I think. I'm from the Woodstock generation. I'm a baby boomer, and we didn't care one way or the other, but I know some of you young people are really excited that this is available to you. Don't misuse it, because it has medicinal purposes. I think Mr. Biden is going to have a hard time. He's going to have a hard time. And it's almost like he's the bridge from where we are now. He's the bridge to here. I don't know how to explain that. He has a lot of opposition, but he's that bridge to put things the way we need it. And make no mistake, our young people, they're really, really sharp, so listen to them and go with the times. I'm the perfect example. I don't know anything. I don't even know how to answer a cell phone. And in some ways, I don't want to, because that's not my time. And when I was going to school, I took a class in typing, in shorthand, and that was a big thing. They intended to have the whole world speak one language. It was called Esperanto. So I struggled through that. So here, forward, 50 years, nobody knows. I think there's 2,000 people that still know Esperanto. Babies are born at 8 months. They go like this, and they can text. So you have to change with the times. So don't listen to the young ones. It's like they have a built-in something. And for the metaphysically oriented friends, you remember a few years ago when we talked about the indigo children, about the generation that comes with their memory intact, and that whole time period didn't last too long because we went on to other things. And I had a call from someone last week, and what he wanted to know, I wrote a book called 2012, so what am I still doing here? And the person wanted to know if I accidentally got my years mixed up, because what he read on 2012 is really happening this year. And that's how we got back to the indigo children. The young people have a built-in buzzer of knowing things, and it doesn't, sometimes, most of the time, doesn't go with what we want to do. But trust them, let them do it, because we are on the way out. My generation, and even some of the generation, I don't know what you call them, the 50, 60 years old, you have to go with the times and have to let people evolve. So don't criticize the young people. And okay, so they want to twerk, but do you know twerking? That's a form of dance halfway around the world, and it's not derogatory. It is just the way you look at it and the way you think. I posted a video of a young woman teaching her little girl how to pole dance. And so the girl must have been 5, 6 years old. And so the woman taught her daughter how to pole dance, and she had a baby with her. And oh my God, people were just in uproar because I posted this. But I'd like for you to know, pole dancing is an art form. Everything has to do with how you perceive things. So you perceive it the way you need it, and don't be so judgmental. Those days are over. 20 is on the way out, okay? And birth control is going to change too. I didn't even take a breather between those two, did I? Pole dance and babies. Well, anyway. Legal battles. A lot of legal battles. 2 of them. Here we go. So it's important. Things it's not going to go everybody's way, so you just roll with it. I don't think schools is going to open very soon either. Be more compassionate with females. They have a job, they have children, now they have to do homework with the children, and I don't know how they do it. So please help your partner, because wouldn't be good if the women cracked now, would it? So keep that in mind. Just be more helpful, please. Next year, 21 summer is going to be horrendous. Heat-wise, weather-wise. So many things burned this year, there probably won't be a whole lot left. But the temperature is going to be almost dangerous. So if you get Washington here, if you find the air conditioning on sale, buy it now. A lot of anxiety, that is not going to change, but all this will come to an end. And I would think by March of 22, we can actually take that exhale breath that so many of us thought we took now, but this is not the end of our reality at the moment. It is going to get real sticky here next few months. This is the total success card. I have 2 of those, so that's good. The pay scale for women will increase. I'm not sure if this virus affects teeth. Something about teeth. I don't know what that is, but you need to go to the dentist is increasing. I don't know, maybe something that will affect the enamel. Oh, I can say that word. And help me. Enamel. Oh, enamel of the teeth. I don't know what to do with that, so I'm going to park it here, okay? No idea what that means. um, June, July is in there somewhere, so I can't explain that. The prison system, it had a pretty good start to, we had a pretty good start to reform the prisons. But then they all got privatized. Not all of them, but most of them. I think they're going to walk that back and somewhat change that prison system, but it's going to be very consuming. Along with that, I'm assuming that they will finally take care of those children in cages. And then the relax card is behind that. So it probably means that they will really get all of that organized again. I think the police shooting, not going to quit overnight, but it will improve a little bit, so be a little patient. In some areas, keep up the thought of want to make change and stick with that, but in other areas, kind of slack off a little bit, and things will change because your money is going to get all straight. If $5 is a lot to you, then you got $5 and whatever you need, but your needs will be met. Yeah, I found $18 in quarters the other day, and I was excited. I said, "Oh!" And they said they don't have any change. I wonder what I could turn that into. I said, "I have $18 here. How about you give me 30 since you needed this and you really gotta have these $18 here." Bars are not gonna open like right away, so make sure you have your stash at home. Lots of breakup in families. 20 was such a crazy year that I don't see how any couple survived that in a way. But step back, push the reset, and remember how it was before that time period. Things that you had in common, things that you worked for, things that you envisioned. It'll take a while, but eventually we will, maybe not exactly, but pretty close. We'll get back to that. Just be kind to each other. Lots of divorces and things here. Let's see. Some of the bigger banks are going to buy the smaller banks. So when that happens, you don't have to just say, well, yeah, okay, my bank sold me. Maybe you want to shop around and see how you're going to distribute your money so you come out pretty good. And it's a crazy reading, just so you know. Horses. I'm not sure that this affects horses. I don't know if it affects their food supply or an illness. So for those of you that have horses, kind of keep an eye on that. I don't know what that means, but it affects horses. Let's see what else has horses. A racetrack. I don't know what that is, but it does affect horses. Some of the people in the present political situation will go to prison. And can't put a time period on that, but that will happen. Life as we know it, this whole cycle now here is sort of coming to an end. Now keep in mind, I learned that in school, but I went to school in a different country. We learned global history and things. And usually after so many 100 years, the main empires, the world empires, they went on a decline. And it usually had a pattern to it. So we kind of at a vulnerable point here. So if you look at that historically, get your stuff together. I was going to say a bad word. I changed my mind. Because if you don't, you're going to repeat that crap. And that's not necessary because now we have technology, we have Siri, we have Google, and you have people like me. And we don't have all the answers, but we can kind of buffer the blow a little bit, so kind of pay attention to things. And I'm almost at the end. Now, I don't know how this show is going to turn out, meaning normally we have a format for this, so it's going to be perfect. But if there is a little time in the back, maybe we can give you a little Lokash from India, the one that makes the predictions. If we have time, we'll give you a few of his notes. He has wonderful videos. And if not, well, then go to Facebook and or YouTube and pull him off of there. And please don't forget, we need money. Just up the money, please, please, please. So please help us so we will continue doing what we're doing and for your enjoyment, or just start a discussion and keep you informed. So in advance, I do thank you. And some of my sponsors from way back when, I do appreciate you. And as soon as you open your businesses, we will come back and make sure you have enough money left over to send to TCTV, TC Media, actually. So stay safe. And, oh, when you pray, for those of you that do, they always say ask for patience. Wonderful. Please ask for patience. But I like for you to change that and say, thank you for the patience. Give me results. That's what we want. Because if not, you're going to get patience. That's all you're going to get, on and on and on. So pray for results. And my buzzer is going to go off, and I'll see you, I don't know, in 22 or something. Stay safe, wear your masks, and be kind to your neighbor. Goodbye. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah, we filmed it here. Rusty and Andrew, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's it. Bye. That's it.
Still young, we'd like to thank you for all the fun you took us here. Take us there, and it's just because you really care where our journey goes. All it begins is part of our planning. take us here, and you take us there. And it is just because you really care.